So the king is on the throne in the UK, but let's look at our own messy palace politics here at home. The new mayor has been elected in Johannesburg, but that vote was postponed and the tumult continues in Johannesburg, Tshwane and Ekurhuleni municipalities and others in the country where there was no outright winner of the local government elections in 2021. Commentator Ebrahim Harvey says when local government election results were hung and coalitions have governed, there has been immense damage to both the fabric of municipal governance and service delivery. To discuss, we're joined by Harvey, who's a political analyst and author of The Great Pretenders, Race and Class Under ANC Rule. Thank you for being with us, as always. The ANC, let's start with Joburg. The ANC decided not to implement its own policy yet, which would basically ban it from electing mayors from small parties like Al Jamaa. That expediency seems to have worked. The ANC and the EFF are behind this new mayor. What do you think of their decision?
No, thanks, Francis. Man, it's a cynical spectacle. Really a cruel joke that's being played on the residents of, this new mayor. To be honest, I listened to him very carefully, Francis. This new mayor is more uninspiring and weaker than the previous mayor was there for 2-3 months. You needed a strong and credible mayor. We're sitting with the worst crisis that has struck Johannesburg ever, arguably since the Union of South Africa in 1910. This is what the situation is at the moment. Everything is falling apart. This is the biggest municipality and most powerful, 7-8 billion rand budget. I mean, really, it is. But you can see what is happening. Let me tell you what the whole thing is. There's an increasing rapprochement between, and you'll see it even in next year's national government elections, between the EFF and the ANC. They are going for the weakest. I mean, this is a party with merely 3 seats. They went from Amman to Kabelo. Now, let me tell you something. The reason why is that they will be able to manipulate their way. You must remember, this is an executive mayor. And the clout that they can wield in the mayoral committee is obviously going to be enhanced through their control of the mayor of the city. And clearly, you can see this is their strategy. It is very little to do. I mean, Francis, have you heard them having any debates on the election manifestos, on policy, on a program of action to deal with the worst service delivery crisis ever in post-apartheid South Africa? No. This thing now is, it's a terrible setback because really, although it was a foregone conclusion, I think we would have been better off with Kenny Kunene and even the action essays Funzi Ngobeni. I think we would have been better off, really. We're going to face a bigger crisis. There are going to be more problems in Johannesburg. There is no doubt, and you're going to see the media for yourself when you get to interview him, as you've seen with the previous mayor, when people became so worried.
Doctor,
you will see.
Did you hear him in that clip actually talking about the media and saying essentially that we've overblown the link between the changing of mayors and service delivery? He said that hasn't been the case to the extent that we've made it out. But you are confirming, I think, what many residents feel, that the changing, the constant moving of chairs has been disastrous for service delivery on the ground.
No, it's obvious. In fact, it's been disastrous from the 2021 local government elections, when there was no clear majority, and we've dealt with, how we've had 6-7 mayors. You know what? The biggest problem here is going to be the residents of Johannesburg who are looking forward to a change of mayorship that may augur a new era for Johannesburg citizens. I mean, we're sitting with the worst crisis ever. I don't believe that this new mayor is going to change. In fact, to the contrary, I believe Johannesburg City is going to go into a deeper crisis The new mayor, honestly, I listened to him, very uninspiring. I think the former mayor who was there for 2-3 months, to be honest with you, was a bit better. I don't know what is the logic behind this other than to be able to manipulate and control this mayor, and therefore use that control to execute decisions of the mayoral committee that is in the interest. This faction that you can see, this is what it's all about, really. It's right. That part. It's not attending to the service delivery needs of the population at all. We're going to go further away from that with this new mayor.
Finally, what does this all say about the other possible ruling coalition? It's been in power before. The likes of the DA, Action SA, IFP, they had come together before, but they couldn't decide on a candidate to back. It sounds like the DA it's only going to be Dr. Mpho Phalatse, and Action SA wanted their candidate for a change. What does it say about their ability to compromise, to work together, to get something important done?
No, I think there's arguments to be made, really. There's arguments to be made, it's very complex matters. There's arguments to be made even that the DA has perhaps not been flexible enough and strategic enough, This has been repeated arguments that has been made that they've lacked the necessary flexibility to secure a mayoral outcome, that will actually create. This is what you need. You need a big turnaround strategy in a crisis-ridden, biggest municipality in the country, and in fact, the biggest budget of any municipality in Africa on the whole. And sadly, the other opposition parties has not come to the table, really, has not had displayed the necessary flexibility, tactical flexibility. I absolutely think that we would have been better off with the former mayor Phalatse, who was there for what was it, a couple of months, all in all, than what we're going to have now going forward. Right. Really, certainly we're going to have problems.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate your analysis as always. Dr. Ebrahim Harvey, looking at our own messy palace politics in Johannesburg specifically.